Well, that didn't take long, now did it? Hello there. I know this video is going to bring a lot of new people in, and before y'all watch this, I just want to let you know right now, I'm never making something like this again. I'm not a commentary channel, and I don't want to become a commentary channel. This is a one-time thing, so don't subscribe for commentary. Right after this, I'm gonna go back to making my cringy Texas Chainsaw Massacre videos. This video just made me so angry and so baffled that I had to make a response to it. I cannot let this slime ball return back to the internet. Anyways, before getting into the video, if you've been living under a rock and somehow don't know what the synnibear03 drama is, let me fill you in. synnibear03 is a former animation memer turned commentary YouTuber who got exposed for grooming a 14-year-old. She was exposed by her ex-roommate, Jack, and after this, she literally tried to kill him. We're going to be getting into that later, trust me. But now, after admitting to grooming, which by the way, she deleted her shitty apology video on it to try and pretend this didn't happen, is trying to crawl her way back on the internet, defaming Jack in the process. Before watching this video, I'm going to give you a quick content warning. This video contains mentions of grooming, ableism, attempted murder, and child abuse. If any of these things make you uncomfortable, I have a lot more happy videos that you could watch instead. Also, I'm going to be getting very angry in this video. I'm going to be saying a lot of naughty words, and I will yell at several points. So, if loud noises bother you, I'd advise you don't continue watching. Anyway, let's get to the video.
Week has made sense. I was completely convinced that I was a predator and a groomer and that I needed intervention.
Yes, because you are Cinny. You are a predator. No matter how much you try to spin it, you are objectively a predator. You sent a 14-year-old porn and a graphic rape comic that is not only grooming, but that is considered a federal offense. You are a predator. It doesn't matter how you spin it. You are and will always be one.
I made my confession under duress.
Oh my god, are you seriously trying to say that you admitted to grooming under duress? Okay, considering the fact you're just going to be showing Google definitions in this entire video, how about I play your game? Let's look up the definition of under duress. Under duress, threats, violence, contracts, or other actions brought to bear on someone to do something against their will. Jack didn't pull a fucking gun on you. He didn't hold you at gunpoint to make you say that. He didn't make you make your shitty apology. You did that. You were not being held under duress. You chose to do that. You were not threatened with legal action. You were not threatened with violence. You did that on your own accord.
But smart people define child grooming as the act of deliberate.
Okay, this is something Cinny does a lot in this video, where she tries to make it out to be that anyone who disagrees with her is stupid and illogical, and anyone who does agree with her is smart and understands definitions. It's just a really manipulative and honestly really childish tactic.
But smart people define child grooming as the act of deliberately establishing a relationship with a child to prepare them for abuse.
Oh my god, no. She's pulling an Onision right now. She's literally pulling an Onision right now. This is something she does pretty much the entire video, by the way. Just brings up Google definitions that agree with her, or at least she thinks agree with her, in order to try and make her argument seem stronger. Which, by the way, by her own definition that she pulls up, she is a groomer. You isolated Eno. It doesn't matter if they were already isolated. You still had them isolated. Grooming does not necessarily have to mean that you were in contact with someone in real life. Grooming can happen over the internet. You flat out admit in this video that Eno was already isolated. Just because you were not the one isolating them yourself does not mean that you still did not isolate them. You created an environment where they could get groomed.
As an action in and of itself, grooming does not have criminal penalties, but facilitation of a criminal sexual act is considered a crime.
I mean, do I even need to say why this is wrong? No, Cinny. Grooming itself is a crime. It's a federal offense.
Conversations with Eno, while inappropriate and irresponsible, trust me, you will never fucking catch me trying to act like this was an okay thing to do.
Yeah, it wasn't an okay thing to do, Cinny, which you seem to recognize. The last time you did this, which you conveniently never mentioned the bug spray situation in this entire video because it proves you have a pattern of doing this. You've promised to never do it again, and you broke that. How are we supposed to trust you that you've changed and you've learned your lesson when you've done it before, and now you're just doubling down on the whole thing?
Actual qualifiers for what constitutes as grooming, as is listed by a simple Google search. Isolation of the child. Building the child's trust. inappropriate communication, which includes asking for secrets to be kept, and using sexual language that the child may not understand, and educating the child on the subject. Buying gifts, giving the child special attention, singling out the child to make them feel more mature, special, or different from other children, showing particular interest in the child, victim selection, and substance misuse.
Oh, Cinny, was it a bad faith misinterpretation when you sent Eno a rape comic, which you conveniently, again, don't mention in this video? Was it a bad faith misinterpretation when you admitted multiple times in your messages that you shouldn't be doing this, which proves the fact that you knew it wasn't okay, yet you did it anyways? I'm sorry, but y'all gotta be offended at just how much of a sucker Cinny seems to think that we all are.
Who they were hanging out with. I wouldn't get upset if they didn't talk to me. The only thing I can think of that probably looked like I did is if I said something in their DMs and they took forever to respond, I would get anxious and think that I upset.
Yes, which you all did. All those things. By your own definition, you are a groomer. Just because you never gave them gifts or knew them in person does not make that not grooming. Also, Cindy here really loves to focus on minor details of the definition to try and invalidate her being a groomer. But by her own definition of grooming, she is a groomer. Just because you didn't get jealous of them did not send them gifts does not make it not grooming. You groomed Eno. End of fucking story.
Victim selection. I did not select them. In fact, they talked to me first.
Oh, shut the fuck up, Cinny. You're literally trying to blame Eno for you grooming them. It doesn't matter if Eno reached out to you first. You're fucking 21 years old. You should know not to do this. You're completely capable of not grooming them. It doesn't matter if they reached out to you first. That was not them asking you to fucking groom them.
Things that we really need to discuss when we're talking about this whole grooming situation. So firstly, I am a hetero woman. I am attracted to men, as you can see from these fucking cringy-ass conversations that I had with Eno.
God, this woman makes me so bad. Cindy here is trying to do this really gross thing where she's trying to downplay what she did to Eno and make it seem quirky and funny. No, Cindy, what you did was not cringy, it was grooming!
To some individuals who are very critical of me, but they've been fair. They disagreed with the idea that this was grooming because one of them, who goes by Kumo, thought something was off about the evidence that was used to back up the claim. Kumo has been very critical of child predators and people who enact performative vigilante justice online for validation or personal gain. It was explained to me that my understanding of grooming was clearly warped, and these conversations just sounded like, I'm quoting Kumo, locker room girl talk. I myself have never been very—
You gotta be fucking kidding me. You're gonna call sending a rape comic, again, can't stress this enough, you sent a rape comic to a 14-year-old locker room talk. No, Cindy, this ain't locker room talk. Sending porn to a 14-year-old is not locker room talk. This is just sending porn to a 14-year-old, which again is a federal offense.
Found in my DMs with Eno because I did not groom Eno. My therapist doesn't even think I groomed Eno. And the obvious rebuttals to that could be, well, we don't know what Cindy was saying to the therapist. What reason do I even have to lie at this point? I came into their office specifically saying I believed I groomed a child, and then after telling them all the details, they don't think that what I did was actually grooming.
Even though you just spent several minutes doing exactly that. You're literally contradicting yourself in your own video. You claim that you don't have a reason to lie, yet you've been doing this whole video. So clearly, you do have a reason to lie. It's to save your own ass. Of course you had every reason to lie to a therapist about this, because he could legitimately put you in jail for this. This is serious. You clearly know this was bad enough because you've been leaving out so much context this entire video because it makes you look bad. If you genuinely don't have a reason to lie, then why are you cherry-picking DMs? Not mentioning the fact you tried to kill Jack, which again, we'll be getting into that later. Trust me, if you have no reason to lie, then why are you doing just that? If you're truly innocent, then why don't you show all the evidence? If you're truly innocent, then why are you trying to frame people as liars? Because they have mental illness. Innocent people don't do that.
To ride the wave of this controversy to accuse me of sexual assault. But I think anyone listening to what Jack said should be able to recognize that what actually happened is he retracted his consent long after what happened. Which is not only—
Well, guess what, Cinny? I too listened to what Jack had to say, and I can tell you right now, that was not him retracting his consent, just because he doesn't like you anymore. What really happened was Jack was able to rethink what you did given the new information. That's called recontextualizing things. One convenient thing you left out of this video is that Jack said that he told you no. In that recording that you decided to cherry pick, he said that you thought he was joking when he told you no. It made him uncomfortable. He did not retract consent afterwards. He explicitly told you and even screamed when you did it and didn't.
Not only disheartening, but I believe constitutes slander.
Alright, Cinny, if this constitutes a slander, then how come your own words are being used against you in this situation? That ain't slander. Again, how about we play your game? Let's look up the Google definition of slander. The action or crime of making a false spoken statement damaging to a person's reputation. What Jack did was not slander. He was using his own words against you in that situation. That's something you admitted to happening. Don't you dare try to say it was under duress. Jack did not make you do that. You said that. That's your own words.
I was not under the impression that Jack was not comfortable or even unhappy with these silly acts of poking and squishing.
Again, this is yet another example of Cinny trying to paint everything that she did as being quirky and funny and silly. Ha ha, it's so silly to poke someone in their genitals. So funny! Again, you're conveniently leaving out the time that he told you no. You're conveniently leaving out these things because you know it makes you look bad. Again, stop trying to make things out to be as cute and silly and funny. It's not. It's just called sexual assault.
Jack's GoFundMe is a scam and it's slanderous. Jack's selling point on the GoFundMe that raised over $10,000 in like 3 days was that he didn't feel safe living with me anymore.
How is Jack's GoFundMe a scam? He said point blank that the money was going to be used to get him to safety, and it was. Just because he doesn't want to live with you anymore doesn't make it a scam. Also, I love how you emphasize that it raised $10,000. You know damn well that in this economy, that is barely enough money to cover the cost of an apartment. In the United States, it costs $11,000 per month to cover the rent of an apartment. That $10,000 is gonna go away really quickly. If anything, this shows how cordial Jack is. He only asked for $10,000 for an apartment. That money is gonna be used up quickly. If he was a scammer, he would have been asking for way more. If he was a scammer, he wouldn't have used the money to cover the cost of an apartment. So tell me, how is Jack a scammer? If anything, Cinny, you are a scammer. You have commissions you haven't done from October. How is that scam?
He didn't feel safe living with me anymore. As if I'm some sort of evil, deranged, violent rapist that was gonna groom Jack next for saying awful shit about me in the next room.
I wonder why Jack didn't feel safe around you. Maybe it's because you tried to kill him. Jack has every right to not feel safe around you. Hell, I wouldn't feel safe being around you. Not even including the trying to kill him thing. You groomed a minor. You disrespected his boundaries. He has every right to not feel safe around you.
Jack was not financially independent, but neither am I. I occasionally had to rely on Jack's social security to make ends meet and maintain our lifestyle and security. Jack made a little under $1,000 each month from his benefits. Jack was unemployed and hardly attempted to make any income through commissions.
Didn't attempt to make any money from commissions is very rich coming from you when you have scammed people out of money with your commissions.
Jack has asked their viewers, in light of grooming allegations of a 14-year-old, for their money to enable them to ditch their living situation and leave me to handle all the loss. Stealing one of the pets.
I love how you try to make Jack out to be scummy just because he did this GoFundMe in the midst of your allegations. You conveniently leave out that Jack felt unsafe because of these allegations. Honest to God, I would too. I feel like most people would not want to be roommates with a groomer. That does not make him scummy. That does not make him a bad friend. That just makes him a decent person.
Worse, Jack has tried to ruin my life in many different avenues. Jack has isolated me from my only real-life friends and socially engineered my coworkers against me. Jack has made a public spectacle about this and ruined my reputation, to the point that my family heard about it. My fucking brother heard about this situation at school. Jack did not ruin your life. You ruined your own life.
Jack did not try to isolate you from your friends. Your friends did not want to be associated with you anymore because of the grooming allegations. Also, you tried to kill him. I feel like most people would not want to be associated with you after that. This is the consequences of your own actions. No one did this to you but yourself. You didn't have to groom Memo. You did not have to assault Jack. You did not have to try and kill him. You did all of that. You're responsible for your own actions.
Jack has gone on Twitter and wished me more than death. I will go more in depth on that later.
No, Jack didn't wish death on you. You wished death upon him. Do I need to bring up these screenshots again?
In light of this situation, that I have been surrounded by the most deluded and dishonest lunatics I've ever met. A group of people.
Oh my god! By the way, Cindy's gonna be using ableist language like this the whole video. It is so fucking rich coming from you, somebody who has publicly called out people being ableist in order for you to say this. You are so disingenuous and don't practice what you preach.
If I pulled the DM logs of Turkey Tom when he was 18 to 19, I have to wonder what I could find. If I did the same to Deadwing Dork, Chud Logic, Soph the Neko, I have to wonder. If we dug through every interaction you've ever had online, would there suddenly be more incentive to be nuanced and open-minded? Because those aren't even the things I asked for. I'm being represented in terribly bad faith, and I'd be surprised if anyone listed really believes they've never said or done anything that could be used against them in this manner.
What do I even say to this? First of all, you're literally contradicting yourself in your own video. You admitted several times that what you did with Enna wasn't okay, but now you're trying to make it seem like this was something that everybody does. Oh, everyone's groomed a 14-year-old. Everybody does that. No, if I dig through the logs of all these people you mentioned, I probably wouldn't find anything like that, because, you know, most people don't groom 14-year-olds. It's really easy not to groom a 14-year-old. It's so easy, actually.
Jack's behavior throughout this situation has been really fucking strange, and I have to question what his motivation was, both in this situation and honestly in our friendship. I'm not sure why he felt like he—
Alright, let me tell you Jack's motivation. It was to keep you from hurting other people, because clearly you are someone who is irresponsible with your platform. You've proven time and time again. Need I mention the bug spray thing? Which you conveniently didn't mention all in this video. You said when that happened, you swore to God it would never happen again. You keep doing this. You have proven you are irresponsible with your platform. Jack was just trying to keep you from hurting anybody else.
I'm not sure why he felt like he needed $10,000 from a GoFundMe just to get away from me. That's a shit ton of money. Maybe it's for a fresh start, but it feels a bit exploitative. It feels strange to make a video educating people about someone you believe to be a predator and then ask for a shit ton of money that isn't even meant to help the victim. I feel like he could have asked for enough to buy a plane ticket and a few months of food. Even then, I'm thinking about how—
Plane ticket? Are you serious? Yeah, like that's gonna cover the cost of an apartment and everything else I just mentioned. Just because you fly out to another state does not mean you are instantly granted housing. And you know how much a plane ticket costs? A plane ticket for a 14-hour flight costs $75. And that's the cheapest I could find. Most plane tickets cost around $200. If anything, $10,000 could barely cover the cost of that.
There's a lot of things that I do to Jack expecting a specific reaction because he makes funny noises. I would often grab his face and squish it in my hand and he'd make a murr sound, and I thought it was funny. I would hold his nose closed and when I let go he would inhale really hard. Funny. I'd pinch his double chin and he'd say, "My gizzard." Funny. When I poked him in the ass, he would scream. Not a guttural scream, like it would be easy for me to assume that he was scared or upset. It was like a silly scream, like, "Ah! Ah!" Last time I remember doing this, though, he didn't react at all. He was playing with Squirp.
He was playing with Squirp on the cat tree and I poked him in the ass and he didn't react. He just kept playing with the cat. He didn't even flinch. How am I supposed to know that you don't like what I'm doing if you don't tell me? If you told me before, then it wasn't really clear. You gotta be explicit with me. I'm autistic. I'm stupid. He says I poked—
Oh my god, you're seriously trying to use the autism excuse? Well, guess what? I'm autistic too, and I know damn well if somebody screams, they want me to stop doing something. I don't care if it was a quote-unquote funny scream. A scream is still a scream. If someone's screaming, they probably don't want you to do something. Also, did you just admit you've suffocated him just so he makes a funny noise? What the fuck?
I was not mooching off of Cinny is a wild statement considering how much I was doing for you. We were living together for almost half a year, and I would say half that time you were staying in my apartment rent-free. The first few months we lived together, I was paying the rent in full, and I had to fucking plead with you to pay 1/3 of the rent. Not half rent. I offered Jack pay 1/3 of the rent because his benefits paid him half of what I get paid. I I had to fucking drag it out of you, and you whined about it. You haven't paid rent for the past few months because your benefits were revoked. I cook, I clean the apartment, I do the dishes, I do the laundry. You sometimes clean the litter boxes when I ask you to. I drive you to your appointments. I pay for your medicine. I take you on car rides when you're sad. I buy you ice cream every week as soon as I got up because you were always home. I have to work all day while you sit on your ass at home and draw. You also—
It is so rich of you to try and say that Jack withdrew his consent just because he doesn't like you anymore, when now you're revoking your generosity, now that you don't like him anymore. Jack never asked you to do all that stuff for him. He didn't ask you to buy him ice cream or all those gifts. You chose to do that out of generosity. But now that you don't like him, you're trying to say that he quote-unquote is a moocher? Also, it is so fucking disgusting that you're saying that all he does is sit around his house and do nothing when you know he can't get a job. You know he's too disabled to work. Again, the ableism here is just insane and so rich coming from—
Jack brings up my obsession with Boy. Let's talk about Boy. Something that keeps getting brought up is the fact that I'm simping over a minor's character. Okay, who fucking cares? The character is an adult. That is what matters. Sock is uncomfortable with how I'm using Boy. They blocked me. I don't care. I think I've made it very clear in the leaked DMs that I think Sock is way too sensitive when it comes to their characters. I think it's insanely stupid to post your characters online and then get upset when people get invested in your work. Not allowing people to ship your characters, ship themselves with your characters, make headcanons for your characters, kin your characters when you're posting them to the internet where everyone can see them is fucking ridiculous. Just try and control the internet. You will fail. I am tired of acting like she has any say over my creative freedom and self-expression. She blocked me so she doesn't have to see my art. That should be good enough for her. The only people hurting her are the ones who go out of their way to show her the things that I've drawn. Watch me continue to have beef with Sock.clip. Before I get into my biggest concern, here's some—
Do I even need to say why this is disgusting of you to say? It doesn't matter if the character is an adult. That was a minor's character. You should not be making porn of a minor's character. It doesn't matter if they post it online or not. You should know not to do that. It's okay for someone to have boundaries with their character. Also, it's so fucking rich of you to try and say, oh, if someone posts something online, they have creative freedom and self-expression, when you get mad at Jack for reclaiming a character that isn't even yours.
With me talking about sex AIs in my 13+ server. This is actually something I believe was a problem. I shouldn't have talked about it in my server. That was irresponsible and cringe. And you know what? Someone did actually DM me saying that I shouldn't have been doing that, and I agreed with them and didn't do it again. I believe I contemplated making like a public apology within the server, but my mods told me not to. I don't have any evidence of this because the server was deleted and I didn't know how to export the files. So take what I say with a poke in the ass.
Oh my god, fuck you. You are seriously trying to use sexual assault allegations as a joke? I don't know how many times I have to say this. It's just disgusting. That's the only word I can use for it. It's just disgusting.
I think it's odd that Jack insists that he's in danger to some extent by staying with me. Do you think I'm gonna get you? Do you think I'm gonna hurt you? Genuinely, how are you in danger by staying with me?
I mean, come on. Do I even need to show the screenshots again? Of course he thinks you're gonna get him, Cinny. You said you wanted to kill him 4 times, and you literally attempted to do so.
His response was. That night, I took him to get Panera, and the whole time, he was acting so normal. It was like nothing was wrong. I remember while we were waiting for our food, I broke down crying again, and Jack told me, if it bothers you that I'm acting normal, I'm just really good at masking. He got a Red Bull, I got food too, but my stomach was in knots and I couldn't eat anything. We watched Rick and Morty while we ate, and I remember asking if we could try finishing Rick and Morty before he left, and he said that sounded like a good idea. I laid in bed with him, and he showed me funny videos.
No, there's a major part of the story that you're leaving out, but I'm not gonna say it again. I know y'all are tired of hearing about it, but just know one thing, Cinny. You need to stop throwing yourself a pity party in this situation. You need to stop trying to make everyone feel bad because you got exposed for grooming. You are not the victim in this situation. Stop trying to make yourself out to be. You ruined your own life. Nobody did that but yourself. You're facing the consequences of your own action. Karma has come to collect your debt.
Hateful art about me. Talking about stealing my intellectual properties for himself to use.
I'm sorry, but this bit is just hilarious. Scootaloo is not your intellectual property. She belongs to Hasbro. What the fuck are you even on about? And again, this is rich coming from the person who said that Sock is stupid for having boundaries when it comes to their characters. So you can have your own creative expression with Sock's characters, but people can't have their own creative expression with yours?
I don't know why he's acting like this. I know he has borderline personality disorder, so I really hope that this is just him splitting on me, and maybe later down the line he'll come to his senses and realize that I'm not the monster he's saying I am. That could just be hopeful thinking, but I do know that borderline personality disorder causes you to think in black and white. He thought I was the most amazing person ever, and now he thinks I'm the worst. I hope it changes.
Sorry, but this last bit is just fucking disgusting. The fact that you're trying to use someone's mental illness as a way to discredit them is, again, fucking disgusting. You are fucking disgusting with this. Don't you dare try to use someone's mental illness as a way to discredit them. No right to say this, you fucking scumbag.
It'd be good for me to immediately come back. It doesn't feel right. I don't expect my video to change everyone's mind and make people think I'm a good person. I don't even think I'm a good person. But I'm not a predator. And to be...
You are absolutely right, Cinny. You are not a good person. You are fucking awful. And this video proves it even more. I feel disgusted that at any point I was a fan or supporter of you. You are a fucking scumbag, groomer, ableist, and at this point, attempted murderer. Don't you dare try to crawl your way back on the internet. Stay gone and don't ever come back. I know this video was really serious and I got very angry, but I hope you enjoyed it anyways. Again, don't expect any contests like this ever again. I'm never gonna make a video like this again. I don't like making drama videos and I don't like making commentary videos, but this is really important. Anyways, my name is Masky Masker and thank you very much for watching, and fuck synnibear03.